Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Let the record show that the meeting was properly advertised and we had a working session prior. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all board members are here tonight. Tim Hudson is out. Our first item is the approval of our minutes from the September 17th, 2025 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes from the September 17th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill to approve the minutes from the September 17th, 2025 meeting. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will move on to the next item, which is the Hickory Junction Phase 2 lift station, civil wastewater land acquisition. Our legal counsel, Mr. Jacob, will address this.
Board, as we discussed in the executive session, we are asking for your authorization to proceed related to a parcel that will eventually have a number of required easements. It has an easement on an existing, and we are simply looking for your authorization to proceed with actually amending and updating appraisals and proceeding with making an offer to the landowner.
All right. You going to read that, Jeff, or do you need to?
That's actually, the resolution is actually on item 6.
Okay. Sorry, yep. All right, questions for Jeff on this land acquisition on the Hickory Junction Phase 2 lift station? All right, if not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to authorize general manager to proceed with necessary land acquisition for the Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2 project.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the Hickory Junction Phase 2 lift station. Moving forward with the necessary land acquisition for this Phase 2 project. Any additional comments, questions?
Just an additional, no, I don't have anything further. Thank you. Apologies.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, now we'll move to the resolution, which is number 2025-15. And this is approving Kukosing's Wholesale Water Supply Program Phase 1 GMP Report number 3.
Board, as we briefly discussed in the working session, this is the third GMP report for the wholesale water main, as the title of the resolution indicates. I'm happy to read the resolution, but also note that Ryan Ottinger and John Leitner are here that can answer specifics as to the contents of the GMP report and where we are from a cost budget standpoint if needed. Hearing no questions. Resolution.
I do have a couple
Okay.
questions.
Yes.
Would one of you kind gentlemen please come up to the lectern? What is the 1,300 linear feet Lucas legal drain tile reconstruction? What is that?
So throughout the project, we're going through a number of, it's a rural area, a number of farm fields. So as part of that, any field tile that we have to interrupt or cut to put the water main in, we are reconnecting to make sure that the fields drain correctly and that they go to legal drains and don't just flood other areas that we might impact. Is that?
Yeah, and then the Lucas tile is specifically down near package C. It's what our connection point will actually tie into. It is currently, I believe it's a 12-inch or 18-inch field tile. The county surveyor, as part of our permitting process, asked us to reconstruct downstream of where we're tying in. That's kind of their typical process where they can improve field drainage for everybody. So since we're impacting it, putting more water into it downstream, we're going to go ahead and take care of improving it.
Thank you. And
Just as a quick note also, that would include any private tile, as we will see in easements. And in the future, when we have construction, there may be something that comes in as we're digging the wholesale water main where we're interrupting or damaging a private tile in a farm field, and that would be an additional claim that would come back related to land acquisition that you may see. And I just wanted to make sure you understand we're not just, if we get into a private tile, we are also fixing and potentially improving that interruption that we've done as well.
And we do have allowances in the GMP reports already, so that we're not going to have to come back with change orders or anything with that. There are a lot of field tiles out there. We're going through farm fields. We know we're going to hit them, but we've worked really well with the county. Not only are we going to fix them per county standards, improve everything out there as we go, but we're also going to document GPS those so that in the future, when people, anybody goes to do a project, we'll have better data, on the county level and in our Lebanon utilities level as well on the GIS. So the goal is not to just put everything in here and forget about it. It's to improve the route as we go and then make things easier to find in the future.
next question, what is the on-site hypo generation system?
So the on-site hypo generation system will be at the connection point number 1 in the booster station. So there's 2 different ways. What we're going to do is add more chlorine at this booster station as well. There are 2 different ways you can do it. You can either truck it in already made, or what we have here is we're actually going to make the that chlorine on site. So bring in the components. That system will allow you to make it. That lets Ryan and his crews kind of more control what they do. That market fluctuates, the chlorine market does, but the components that make up the chlorine do not as much. So we'll also have a redundant system where if that on-site hypochlorite generation system's not working, we can still truck it in. So kind of belt and suspenders for that system.
So yeah, we actually toured a number of facilities that have these systems. The issue is our current plants, we have 150-pound chlorine cylinders, easy to maneuver, easy to hook up. With the amount of chlorine we'll need for the life of the water that is going to be, how long that water is going to be in the line and maintain a residual, we would actually have to bring in 1-ton cylinders, which is considerably different than 150-pound cylinders. So what we chose to do is bring in the components, make it on site, and then once we're done, once it's gone through that process, it's the same chlorine as we're already purchasing. We're just generating it on site. And then, like John said, we'll have a redundant hookup to where we'll have redundancy in that system to where we can take parts of it down, clean it, still produce chlorine. But if the whole thing goes down, we can bring in a tanker truck, hook it up, and continue to feed water there while the system gets improved. So there's belts and suspenders on that to ensure the quality of drinking water, because we're bringing it to our standards. So when it comes to have its own, it will still have chlorine, but we want to boost that up to maintain the healthy and safe drinking water.
Thank you.
I can add on to that too. I used to operate a plant where we had 1-ton cylinders, and from a safety standpoint, with the changing regulation, that pushes you into something called PSM, or process safety management, where you need to have a scrubber, you need to have people certified in SCBA, you have to give the fire departments tours once a year, and all those things add up to additional cost, additional risk. And then we actually switched, because at that point, it was years ago, and it was a lot more expensive to do the hypochlorite generators. So we were actually switched to liquid hypochlorite. That ended up increasing our costs by 3 to 5 times outside of equipment, just in chemical usage. So with the costs they found for this hypochlorite generation, I think it's going to be our safest option for the community, being good neighbors, and it's probably going to be the cheapest too. So I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, the equipment is there's more equipment obviously than just traditional chlorine feed, but to John's point, not only can we generate it ourselves, but we're not stuck with volatility, or if a chlorine manufacturer has an issue at their plant and they have to shut down, the lead time to get it, you just can't run out. You have to have, so a ton cylinder, you have to have, if you're using a 1 ton cylinder, you actually have to have 3 on site, because when one goes empty, you change that out, then you rotate them, and then they come and take the empty one. So it's not just a ton cylinder. You have 3 of them for it to be efficient. So it's this is the safer option, and it is actually our operators went with us to the tours, and this is what they preferred as opposed to the 1 ton cylinders. So with their input, they're doing it every day, and so this is the feedback we got from them after the tours, and they were pretty excited about doing it this way. After talking to operators, we met with the operators who use it every day, and they really liked it. They told us some of the pros and cons. They've had both, and based on that, that's what the decision we made for that booster station.
Thank you.
Right. Resolution 2025-15, resolution approving GMP report number 3 for the public-private agreement for the wholesale water main phase 1. Whereas the city of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates by and through the Lebanon Utility Service Board, a municipally owned utility known as Lebanon Utilities, for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient water service in and around the city. Whereas the board finds it in the best interest of the ratepayers, the utility, and the city of Lebanon to expand, improve, and maintain the infrastructure of the water system. Whereas the board authorized entering into a public-private agreement, wholesale water supply program phase 1, dated May 7th, 2025, with Kokosing Construction for the design, construction, and operation of a meter vault, ground storage tank, and booster station at the connection point with Citizens Water Infrastructure, large diameter water transmission lines to connect to the existing Lebanon utility system, and an elevated storage tank pursuant to Indiana law, including Indiana Code 523.3. Whereas the project is to be completed on or before January 1st, 2027. Whereas the board received and reviewed the Kokosing's wholesale water supply program phase 1 GMP report number 3, which is attached as Exhibit A, and staff's recommendation to approve the same. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service Board that the wholesale water main GMP report number 3 is approved and adopted by the board to become effective upon its execution by the utility general manager. Adopted the City of Lebanon Utility Service Board this 8th day of October 2020.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Questions, comments on this resolution? I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-15, approving Kokosing's wholesale water supply program phase 1 GMP report number 3.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill, approving resolution 2025-15, Kokosing Wholesale Water Supply Program Phase 1 GMP Report Number 3. Any additional comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right, moving to the next item, which is the Leak Collection System Improvement Program, construction inspection, and Ryan Ottinger's here. Hey, Ryan.
Yes, this is for construction inspection on the leak collection system improvement program. So this will include our new regional lift station that Reynolds is actually started to do some earthwork on now, but also includes the gravity sewers and the force mains that will bring all of that wastewater back to the plant as part of our current wastewater treatment plant expansion. So our recommendation, and I do want to make a note on the board approval request. I did have the wrong, on the funding category, it said availability fees, and that is a mistake. This is part of the SRF loan. So it's not coming from availability fees from the ratepayers. So I wanted to make that correction so it didn't we didn't get confused on that. This is part of the LEAP project, so it will come through the wastewater loan that we currently have. So my recommendation is an hourly rate, but it is an amount not to exceed $1,880,800. We did have an estimated $4 million for inspection for this project, so we're significantly under on that. But again, that is an item similar to our other inspection would be an hourly rate. So there is a chance that it could come in under that. But if it were to exceed that, then that would come back. Or if we see that we're going to exceed that, that would come back to the board for approval. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Questions for Ryan?
Will any inspection services be subbed out by BF&S?
I will let a representative from BF&S answer that question.
No, that will be done by BFS personnel.
Who will be the assigned resident project representative?
So kind of our area managers, we have two, one that's kind of mainly in the office. That's Mike Biesecker. Mike actually lives just outside of town here in Lebanon. And then Jason Summerfield is our really boots on the ground area manager. And then Matt Carter will be our kind of on-site everyday inspector. So you probably heard
What was that last name?
Matt Carter. So you might have heard us talk about Jason Summerfield before. Jason's basically involved in all of our projects here, making sure that we have those on-site inspectors and then kind of providing them with support as needed as things go on, and then checking up on all the projects going forward.
So we anticipate multiple project inspectors for some of the.
Correct. So Matt Carter's out there right now. He's the start. As we get some of these other components going, multiple crews. If there is a gravity sewer crew going and a lift station crew going, we will have an inspector on each of those parts. Same with the force main. We could have up to 3 inspectors on site every day if everything is going all at the same time. With then Jason kind of popping around watching them while also checking in on wholesale water. Again, multiple inspectors over there. So lot going on.
Thank you.
And Jason and his staff actually have an office trailer at the wholesale water site. So they're there the entire time. So it's not as though we have to wait for them to come from another project or from another town. Their office is based at the wholesale water. They have a trailer next to Kokosing. So their availability is instant, even if there was a need for extra based on the amount of work, extra inspectors. They do have inspectors staffed there at that office.
All right, any other comments, questions for Ryan or John? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the construction inspection agreement for LEAP collection system improvements program with Butler, Fairman, and Cipher for the amount not to exceed $1,880,800.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the construction inspection agreement for the LEAP collection system improvements program with BF&S for an amount not to exceed $1,880,800. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Moving on to our next item, which is the RFP for electric line maintenance and emergency restoration services.
Yes, I'll be presenting that. And I invited Jeff McNew, one of our senior foremen, to the meeting because Jeff Greener's on vacation. So I thought it'd be good training for him to have the pressure of talking to the board. So Jeff, if you come up to the lectern, I might ask you a question or two, but you didn't have much to do with putting this together. So I will present it and give some background. And I won't expect you to work with the details that you didn't have to do yourself. But Jeff's been doing a good job covering for Jeff Greeno while he's on vacation, going to meetings and enjoying the administrative side of the job. But yeah, the RFP for electric line maintenance, we conceived of this about 2 years ago, because what had transpired is we did a drone inspection of our transmission loop. And we come to find out that we had some work that needed to be done on a transmission loop, but we didn't have the trucks or equipment or parts to do it. So we ordered the parts, and the parts were all very long lead items. But from talking to the line crews, our equipment wasn't really suited to do it. So we did an RFP with 3 different contractors to find someone we could negotiate an agreement with so that we can get the work scheduled. So with that, Jeff, could you maybe explain better than I did to the board, being a lineman, why it is that transmission's different and you need bigger stuff to work on it?
Sure, I can give it a shot. Basically, we have 2 trucks in the crew, bucket trucks that are capable of reaching 65 feet. And out on the system, we have 75, 85, sometimes 100-foot poles. And, they're just not capable of working. Or a lot of our loop is in the middle of fields around town, just inaccessible a lot of times. They have different ways. They have bigger axles, different types of trucks to get in there. They have more boom when it comes to reaching. Just a little bit of everything. Their line trucks are stronger, more capable of lifting those heavier poles like that, working stuff like that. Then from the safety aspect, if we get to a job or a pole that we can reach, and we're extended as high as we can go, and we got weight in the bucket or weight on the bucket with the wire or parts or whatever it may be, it just becomes a safety factor at that point, just straight up in the air, and you get some wind and some weight pushing you around, and it just becomes a little too much for our trucks, I would say.
No, well, thanks. That's a good answer. So also the cans that you would lift up are a lot heavier. There's actually a lot of rigging to it, whereas you're on distribution pole, big, strong, muscular guy like you might just be able to heft it up there, but you actually have to rig up some of these parts and pieces that they're changing. It's almost a different job. So
Let me ask a question about the RFP process. How many respondents did we get?
we had 3.
Okay. Did I forget something? Is this the first time it's been brought to us? Or?
I think we brought permission to advertise like 2 meetings ago.
Okay, so we had 3 respondents. And how do we choose ISC?
Jeff Greeno, myself, and John Leitner put the RFP together for us. And John, do you have anything to add to that? Or we used John for this because one of the respondents was one of the people we wanted to bid, and we wanted to keep them separate. So
Yeah, and as you guys, I often say I am not an electric expert, so I relied pretty heavily on Jeff Greeno and Ed's expertise as far as providing the scope of services that we went out. Sitting in on the meetings with Ed and Jeff and hearing them debate, they did take into account price, hourly rates, things like that as you go. I know location was a big one too. One of the respondents had a pretty good proposal, but Ed, if you remember, I think they were out of their closest office was Illinois, so kind of hard on the on-call there. But there were a lot of different factors that Ed and Jeff looked at in order to get to the recommendation.
Okay. How often do we anticipate using them in the course of a year? I know that, for example, we had a drone inspections done of the transmission system and had a few dozen suggestions as to how to improve the hardware on some of the poles. Will this RFP respondent be used to perform those drone inspection finding duties?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, Jeff Greeno and I were talking before I went on vacation, and there's going to be a line item that you'll review on the Finance Committee for doing some of this work in the course of the year. Some of this work, we kind of view it as work that we would have liked to have done back when the drone inspection was done, because I viewed it as a high priority work, but we didn't have the parts, didn't have the means to do it. So we're working with our engineer, Phil LaPresto, and Jeff Greeno, and put that stuff in the budget, and we will definitely have more discussions about that when we're meeting with you about the budget.
Okay. Jeff, from your boots on the ground standpoint, in the past year, if this agreement had been in place, how many times do you think we might have used it?
If it's related to Highline, 69 line stuff only, I would say very rarely, because we don't have a whole lot of issues when it comes to that. We might have, blinks or something where the town blinks, but an actual problem where they would have to get in the field immediately, get up there, fix something. I mean, it's a pretty reliable system. So I would say in the past year, just maybe a couple times, if any.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to prevent emergencies by doing the preventive maintenance. So hopefully that continues, but I'm a little worried based on what the drone inspection said, and I don't want to have a fault identified and not fix it was my position. So, okay, with that, I'd like to, if there's no further questions, I'd like to request a motion approving IMPA Service Corps to pursue an agreement with them, as Jeff has worded it here. So.
All right, any other questions before we entertain a motion here? All right, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve pursuing an agreement with IMPA Service Corp for electric line maintenance and emergency restoration services.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill to approve pursuing an agreement with IMPA Service Corp for electric line maintenance and emergency restoration services. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. Looks like our next item is the approval of our claims, payroll, and transfers for October 8th, 2025. Everyone had a chance to review those items? If so, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve claims payroll transfers dated October 8th, 2025 in the amount of $17,542,449.34 for claims payroll and $9,050,454.38 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the claims, payrolls, transfers dated October 8th, 2025. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, anyone from the board have any other business they want to bring up tonight? Ed, anything else?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. It's Customer Service Week, and if you look at our Facebook website, we've been posting pictures of our hardworking finance and HR staff. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to our website. We have some very hardworking people that are public facing, and they have hard jobs, and they really appreciate it. I really appreciate the hard work they do. They're the faces and voices that help all of our customers, and they help everything behind the scenes with neighbors helping neighbors. Also, I want to give a shout out to my executive team. I'll just give you a reflection. I was sitting in about 4 hours worth of meetings a couple days ago with my executive team on LEAP, new development projects with the city, coordination meetings. And now they hate it when I shout them out individually, because they would just say they don't need a pat on the back. They're just doing it because they do a good job. But 2019, when I got here, if we met on this same topic, it would just take about 5 minutes with the amount that was going on. But right now, with everything going on, and they're flexing, they're hiring people, they're digging in, and you're just very gifted to have the consultants and staff that we have to keep this thing going. So you just thank you. And with that, the only thing I have to pass the torch is the 29th should be the next day for the next board meeting. I think.
Looks like that's going to work for everybody. So If there's no other business, we'll offer the opportunity for public comment. Anyone? Don't see any public comment tonight. So yeah, as Ed said, October 29th looks to be the best date for our next meeting at 5 p.m. So that will be it. And if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.